Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're going to look at Gpro, Aapl, Bidu, Twlo, Chtr, Baba, and Ntes. So let's get right into Gpro. We're on the Gilead chart, Gpro. Let's look at Gpro today. So we was down 40 cents, nothing big. Let's get right to the daily. All right, so we talked about this bearish pattern setting up, starting to come into this area of support. We did break through it, the 50 and the 200 moving average last Friday. We got a bounce off the trend line. Now we're coming right back in. We're at $12.80. Now, like I've been talking about in every other video, it is a market trade. The markets start to sell, this will go lower. The markets catch a bid, this will go higher, unless earnings or some news or an upgrade or the talking heads talking about it. Everything at this point is a market trade. So if you're trying to trade stocks, you have to go with the SPY, the Qs, the IWM, and you know what's going on here. Up, well, down, up, down. Look, it's following it. Market trade. Look at that. Weekly on Gpro, we came right into the 50 MA, and we're slowly coming into the 20 MA down here. Price is at 1182. So you're going to have some support at 1182 if this one continues lower. That is a big area for this one. If we get below the 20 MA on the weekly, then we'll definitely going down to 10 bucks on this one, in my opinion. Monthly chart's still ugly. You know, look at this. This is sideways. Nice bearish retrace up into this big breakdown, and bam, right back down. I mean, again, another IPO. Straight up, straight down. Now it's chopping around an inside bar pattern. And that's a bearish inside bar. I don't know. This thing's got to get some news or something, or it's going to be going lower. It's going to go right back to 862, especially if the markets are going to dump. Be careful with Gpro. Honestly, better stocks to trade out there. Just stay away from ones like this and like VRX and news-driven crap. And why? You know, you're going to put your money into this because it's a bottom-feeding play? Come on. It could go lower. It goes lower, you're going to lose half your money. They're going to load it again, and it'll probably go down lower. Stay away from stocks like this. Aapl. Sorry, but stocks like that, you just drive me crazy. People, just because it's low doesn't mean it's going to go up. It's pretty simple. Let's go to the daily chart on Aapl. Look at this now. We got above that trend line today, but nope, they rejected it. So this is pivotal for Aapl. If you're long, it needs to get above this trend line, and it needs to get up into the 110, 111 area. And then ultimately, you got this pivot. You had the gap fill where it filled, you know, yeah, it did fill the gap fill, I don't know, a couple weeks back, came right back in, hit the 200, hit the window here, and boom, right back up. Now it's having trouble against resistance. Going up on news. Again, everything is news-driven right now. These aren't real moves. It's just going up, getting people sucked in. Oh, there goes Aapl. Hurry up, it's cheap. And then they upgrade it or whatever the hell else they say about this stuff. The next thing you know, it's going down because guess what? The SPY's dumping again. Again, it's a market trade, guys, and don't buy stuff on news. This is just somebody wanting to unload up here. They spread the news. They spread how good everything is. They get everybody all hyped up, and then boom, they dump it in your face. So just be careful with this one. Right now, we're above the 20, and it's in a bullish stance. But hey, until it gets above this area, 110, and this trend line now, which really is not that big, but it has to mean something. We pivot. We got to the pivot top here, and then trend line came right back in today. So be careful with this one, guys. 110 is another big area of resistance. Again, you want to stay above the moving averages. If Aapl starts coming in, it's going to go right back down, fill this gap around 96.68. Weekly chart, same thing. Nice reversal on the weekly. But again, this is a weekly. I want to see this thing close up here on a weekly basis. If this thing comes right back down, causes a big tail, you know that was just a BS move. We are above this big trend line. We have that one in there from back in 2015. Let's see if we can stay above it. We couldn't hold it here. Came right back in, came right down, reversed it today on the news. But again, let's see what happens on the weekly close on Aapl. Monthly chart, still an inside bar below the 20 MA until it gets above this area around the 112, 113. I think this one's going to continue down when the markets continue down themselves. The SPY, the IWM, etc. Let's get into Bidu. Bidu, this was another one. It just terrorized for a couple days. I mean, it just went up out of the blue for no reason. Again, big trend line up here too. Right into this trend line, couldn't handle it, little topping tail, and boom, right back down. Reversed up with the markets yesterday. Market trade down on Friday. Today it was down a little bit, $2, nothing crazy. But also we had a gap fill. We hit the 20 MA, and that's the other reason why we bounced, just like everything else did. And then with the news and the Fed presidents coming out and being dovish, and then the CNBC hype, oh, here we go, it's going to be great. They're not going to raise rates, but not raising rates, it's not good for the markets. They got to do it, but now they're stuck. We're in a crap storm right now. Let me tell you, they have no idea what they need to do, and they're just going to start throwing out news and this and that, and then eventually market's going to sell anyways. We're due. So last week we had a nice little tail on here. Still couldn't get above these this breakdown bar on Bidu. Came right back up into this retrace area, 618. Can't get above it. Let's see if we can continue down. Needs to get above this area and the 750 in this pivot if you want to continue up into the 200 even number. It gets up there, you short this thing with both hands. You could take a short position here. We added to our short when it popped up this one day here, and now it's coming in nice, and I believe we're in the money a little bit on this one already. And this thing starts to sell, we're going right back to double bottom 154, and we'll be covering and say thank you. Monthly chart, again, try to get above the 20. This pivot high on this trend line, couldn't do it. Again, we'll see where it closes on the monthly, then we'll reevaluate Bidu. All right, let's look at Twilio. Another IPO, just like GoPro. Remember GoPro, straight up, straight down. Same stuff. Look at this. This one's still got a, oh man, this was great. So we head up, hits into the 618, almost to the 750, comes right back in to the 20 moving average and the 50 even number. They pop it up, little bullish consolidation. They pop it back up into the 618. Then they make this trend line. We draw, connect the dots. We learned this in first grade here. Boom, boom. Got to get above this area. Hits the 618, reverses, nice, and not a great bearish pattern, but this is bearish, and then it comes in, slips below the 20 MA, and here we are back at the 750 retrace coming back in. Now, next step, market sells. This thing's definitely going into the $50 area or into this trend line. We'll see if this holds. If this doesn't hold, it's going right downtown. And Brown. Weekly, there's not a lot on here. This is a new issue, so at this point you came down, you're chopping around sideways. It is starting to break down. $50 is your first level, 50 or 45, and then 40, and then we'll see how this reacts as it's coming in. Monthly, there's definitely nothing other than a little topping tail here, but it's not a true topping tail. But hey, if this thing comes in, that tells me we're going to have lower prices ahead on Twilio. Again, we shorted this, we covered half. Gets down to 50, we'll take the rest of it off. We shorted up in this area here, $10 on a $50 stock. That's a heck of a trade. Take those all day long. So Chtr, another high flyer. This one was another one that was out of control. It was just all news driven, upgrades this. 300 is the next number. It goes right up into the 280 area, comes back in. Now we're chopping around in a bearish manner. Again, everything's a market trade. Markets start to sell. This is coming in. We do have good support around the 260.85 area. This is where the double top came up. Actually, it came up, pulled back, tried to break out, came back. Finally, instead of dealing with the resistance, they gapped it above, kept it going for a couple days, and then boom, nice reversal. Now, market trade. Markets start to dump. We're going to go right through 260, or we're going to try to. If it gets back under the 20 MA, we're going to fill the gap down here around 257. Then I really think we're going to go right down to the 250 area. Big even number, big support down here with the 50 MA. So we'll see how this consolidates, and then maybe it'll start to fall. If you're bullish, you want to get above the all-time high of 279.95 and continue its way up. Until then, this one is going to go lower, in my opinion. We had a nice up move here on the weekly. Nice up move into the 280 area. Reversed it, and like a half engulfing bar. But now we're starting to chop around sideways. Let's see if this head fake. Let's see if this was a head fake. If it starts pulling back below the 259 area, then it was definitely a head fake to get all the bag holders on, and now they reversed it in their face, and I think this one's going to come down. But the monthly tells the true story on this one. You cannot get that far stretched from this. And I told you about NVIDIA, told you about Skyworks a while ago. We traded 3M, we traded Costco, we traded a numerous amount of stocks that were stretched, and they all came in. It's just going to take a little bit of time on these. You know, this is a monthly chart, so monthly charts take months to play out. But if this tail stops and this, well, if this bar comes in and closes below this high on a closing basis on the monthly chart, then I think this will be a pretty good topping tail. It tells us lower prices ahead. Let's look at BABA, everyone's favorite high flyer. Down 52 cents, closed it above the 100 even number again. They're holding it above there, let me tell you. But again, when this thing sold on Friday, it came in really nice, came in again, popped it up. We had good support, gap fill, bounced it up. Now we're just chopping around. Let's see if we can actually, we're going to see if it closes below this candle on a weekly close, well, on a daily and weekly, but that's what we're going to be watching for on this. Right now we're chopping around sideways. There's not really a pattern, but one will develop in the next couple days, and we'll see if we can move up to the highs here, or if we start moving down and get below the 20 MA, and this thing continues down to fill this gap down here at 91.82. Weekly basis, we had a nice little tail on here. It's holding pretty good. For if you're bearish on BABA, you need to close below this area, and then I think we could get a little more selling. Again, this one's stretched from the 20 MA, so if this one does go, you're looking at, you know what, let's put a fib in here. We'll put a fib from this candle to this candle. Let's see, yeah, 382, then ultimately the 91.91. So right now it's really not telling us much. It could definitely retrace up into this area a little bit more. Then I would definitely put a short position on if you are not short, and just use this high pivot as a stop out. It's a pretty simple trade. Again, monthly chart. Monthly, we had the 750 big breakdown bar. This was a big area up in here. I mean, when this thing was coming up, and it was holding here at the 86, 85 level, they finally popped it through 618, always overshoots to the 750. Now it's coming back in. This is a monthly close. If this leaves a longer tail and gets below this high of 98.83, this one is going to start drifting just like everything else. Let's go back to the weekly though. Yeah, this was an inside bar, chopping around, broke out a little too early, came back in. Let's see if we can close below the 99.30 area. Then I think lower prices ahead. Stretched from the 20 MA, even on the weekly. Monthly chart too. Monthly chart, it's at 80 bucks. This thing was at 104. Can't get that far. This is like home base here. So eventually, if the market's dumped, this thing will start to come in, believe me. All right, let's look at Ntes. Someone wanted me to look at this one today. We are in a trade. We wrote some calls today, actually, and yesterday as well. Spread it out a little bit higher just in case, but this was a nice little topping tail with volume. This could be the end of the road on this one. I would have loved to have seen it close below this high on this big green candle, but my gosh, this could be it for this one. Weekly chart, same thing, getting stretched. Let's see if we can close below this part on the weekly or this candle. Right there. Good enough. Close enough for government work. About 224.06. If we could close below that on the weekly candle, this one should be moving down. Monthly chart again, just like NVIDIA, telling the story. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months up. Volume slowly getting lower. I mean, this one, it's not bad. I don't know what's going on with these Chinese stocks, but again, look, stretched came in, stretched came in, stretched. It's going to be coming in, and you know, we'll see on the monthly. We'll reevaluate in a couple weeks here. But again, the weekly chart this week, I want to see it close below the 224.06. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't. But if you are shorting this stock or you're trying to short it, if it gets above the I'd say 250 area, 252, because this thing can definitely overshoot. But I would stop out, take a smaller position down here, add as it goes up. If it gets above 250, just get out. Respect it. It could go to 300, but you know, I'm going to have to do some work on this one to see exactly where this one could be going. But again, stretch chart. If the market sell, this one will be coming in for landing. All right, guys, that's a couple ones I wanted to do today. Hopefully you're enjoying my videos. If you have any questions or comments, send it to me at stockbookie@gmail.com. Thanks again for watching. God bless. See you on the charts.